You ever wake up and just know you're living in a sitcom written by a spiteful cousin? Yeah, that was me the morning I found a laminated sign zip-tied to my pool gate, right there in my own backyard, practically waving at me with 3 cartoon dolphins grinning like accomplices. In cheerful, oversized bubble letters, it read, "Community Water Park coming soon. Opening Memorial Day weekend." There was even a fake logo, Splash Zone, and I swear to you, a QR code for neighbor guest pass registration. Now, I'm not a stranger to weirdness, but this felt like the universe was betting I wouldn't snap before breakfast. At first, I actually laughed. I mean, maybe one of the neighbor kids was getting creative with Canva, right? I snapped a pic, circled the dolphins, and sent it to my sister with, "Is this supposed to be me and my future financial ruin?" Because, honestly, why not? Then I scanned that QR code, just for kicks. Here's where the joke stopped being funny. It linked to a real sign-up form. Name, number of kids under 12, allergies, pick your days for the water park. At the bottom, as ordered by the association, all outdoor private wet recreation resources shall be considered shared amenities unless medically restricted or empty of water. No glass containers. That right there? That's when the laughter got jammed in my chest and turned into that icy, electric panic you get when a cop lights you up from behind, even though you know you didn't do anything. Because it hit me hard. Outdoor private wet recreation resources was legalese for my pool. Let me back up, because if I start with the dolphin sign, it sounds like my life has always been this bonkers. People say, there's no way it was normal before. But it was. I'm Noah. Not rich. Didn't inherit, didn't marry into money. I'm an electrician, 6 days a week, upgrading panels, running conduit through attics hotter than hell, dealing with folks who think turning off the breaker is too much trouble while I'm elbow deep in live wires. Bought this house 5 years ago. A plain, single-story fixer-upper, backyard looking like a set from a Prison Break movie. There was an unfinished pool, cracked concrete, rusty rebar, half a dead orange tree. The last owners basically said, "Take the pool whole, we'll knock down the price." I said yes. That was my dream, one nice thing. I spent 4.5 years making it happen, not by throwing money around, but pulling permits, doing trench work myself, learning more about gunite and pool plaster than any sane person should. I said no to vacations, bailed on fishing trips, poured every spare dollar into my mortgage or that yard. This April, I finally passed inspection. A pool. Just over 8 feet deep, Baja shelf for sitting, LEDs fading blue to purple at night. Nothing wild. No heating, no fancy salt system, just mine. For 3 weeks, I walked outside every night, just staring at the way the water reflected off the stucco, feeling like I'd actually pulled off a magic trick. And then, less than a month later, my HOA tried to turn it into a public water park. If you're wondering, didn't you know your HOA was crazy? Let's talk about them. The Lakewood Ridge Owners Community Association. Sounds peaceful, right? Think again. It's 30 older homes and 14 newer infill ones, mine included. The original neighborhood has a playground and a splash pad that hasn't worked since Obama was in office. Our section doesn't get access because, get this, the covenants and rules only technically cover the first 30 homes. The developer jammed us into a half-hearted agreement. You'll abide by rules reasonably set forth by the board. No dues. No votes, just be good neighbors. That reasonably bit? Yeah, we'll get back to it. So, when I bought, I asked the questions. Dues? $200, fine. What's it cover? Supposedly trash discount, never. Showed up, landscaping, 3 sad shrubs, community events, 1 lemonade table with a dying Bluetooth speaker. Nothing about sharing my future pool. No other pools around, so nobody cared. About pool rules. Then I built mine. Cue the current HOA board. Picture this. Lorraine, our president, real estate pro, mostly Instagram quotes and open house selfies. Drinks green juice from a monogram mason jar. Acts like she owns the zip code. Brent, her cousin, vice president. All muscle shirts, all attitude. Tasha, secretary-treasurer. Sweet, but so nervous, she looks like she'd apologize to a squirrel for stepping on a twig. Back to the sign. Once I stopped panicking, I decided to clear things up like grown-ups. Walked down to Lorraine's, Found her and Brent unpacking foam, noodles and juice pouches like they were prepping a summer camp. I asked, "What is this?" Lorraine's smile could crack glass. "Noah, we were just going to text you. This is the neighborly spirit we need. Brent, kids are gonna love it. We've got 37 swim slots signed up already. Wristbands, so no liability on you." No liability? My pool. My jaw was somewhere near my shoes. Lorraine patted my arm like a toothpaste ad. "We already had a vote. I'm no lawyer, but I know how to read." "A vote of what?" Lorraine turned to Tasha, who looked like she wished the ground would swallow her. "Tash, read him the motion." Tasha, clutching her clipboard. "Effective immediately, all common-use outdoor leisure structures, including but not limited to pools, are designated as shared neighborhood. Amenities under Article 6. Article 6? We wrote it yesterday," Lorraine chirped, proud as a kid with a spelling ribbon. "After my inspection passed." "Well, yeah," she said, "we weren't going to designate a dirt hole. And you think you can just..." "It's about access," she said. "Our documents say amenities should be shared." Brent chimed in. "Also, underserved youth. Looks good if it goes to court. Listen, if you've never been here, you're probably screaming, 'Tell them off.' I wanted to, but I've seen how fast the story flips. One wrong move, and suddenly I'm the unstable, dangerous guy with a deep pool not secured from kids." So I pulled out my phone, hit record, and asked them to explain, on tape, how they thought they could force me to hand over my pool. Lorraine's smile froze for a second, but she kept going, syrupy as ever. "We're asking as part of the association to be in community. Brent, we already told people. If you back out, it looks legally uncool." "Legally uncool is not a thing," I said. Brent shrugged. "We'll see." Lorraine leaned in, stage whispered plans for open swim, guard chairs, slides, regular hours. "And if I say no?" I asked. Lorraine blinked, baffled. "You can't say no, Brent. Against the rules." Tasha, barely above a whisper. "I already posted the sign-up link. People are excited." "I made my first mistake then," I laughed. "Just one dry huh." But Brent heard disrespect. He squared up, stepped closer, and said, "We can just call code enforcement. Have them deal with you not letting people in. We have friends. I'll get them out here so fast your head'll spin." I said, "Great. Call whoever you want. But get your sign off my gate and stop telling people they can swim in my yard." Lorraine, palms raised, said, "Let's not escalate." Like I was the problem. "Yes," I said. "The process where I call a lawyer." "Brent, you ain't calling a lawyer, you're an electrician. See what I mean about people who love their own assumptions?" I just lifted my phone higher and said, "This conversation is being recorded." That got a reaction. Brent flinched. Then Lorraine did. "The wildest thing," shouted, "Are you threatening us?" "Tasha, make a note. Noah is being hostile." I said, "I literally said I was recording. That's legal in this state." Lorraine didn't care about the law. She was going for the drama, acting scared, backing up like I'd drawn a weapon. I said, "We're done here," and started walking. Lorraine yelled, "You can't lock that gate, Noah. It's a huge problem if you lock that gate. Brent, we'll call 911. You're creating a hazard." I ignored them, went inside, and emailed my cousin Eli, who does property law. I sent him the audio file. He called, didn't even say hello, just, "You're not crazy. If they try to go on your property, call the sheriff. Don't yell. Don't touch anyone. Don't let them in. This is overreach and maybe extortion." He told me to grab the sign off my gate for evidence. So I went back out, snipped it off, and that's when Lorraine screamed, "He's tearing down association property." Not 5 minutes later, sirens. For a second, I thought maybe there was a real emergency. Nope. Police SUV pulled into my driveway. 2 officers, one older, seen-it-all guy, and one shiny rookie. Lorraine launched into her performance. "He's threatening us, creating a dangerous situation." The older officer cut her off. "Ma'am, give me a second to figure out what's happening." He turned to me. I calmly explained, "This is my house, my pool. The HOA president is trying to force me to open my pool to the neighborhood. I refused. They threatened to call 911. So here we are." "Lorraine, that's not accurate. We're just keeping kids safe." The officer, "I'm talking to him, ma'am." Brent stomped up, filming. He lost it. Now he's threatening to sue. Kids are crying. Behind him. For kids, none crying, one eating a popsicle. The officer asked for my ID, then read the sign. What does this even mean, he asked. Means she thinks my backyard is a public pool, I said. Lorraine, he's mischaracterizing the notice. Officer, do you have any HOA agreement that says you have to grant access? I pulled up the relevant page Eli sent. The officer read, reasonably set forth. Okay, reasonably. Lorraine, exactly, we're being reasonable. Officer looked at her. Ma'am, him not letting strangers into his backyard is very reasonable. Brent, we're neighbors, it's called community. Officer ignored him, handed my ID back. This is a civil dispute. Only possible crime is trespass if anyone enters his yard without permission. You cannot force him to open his property or act as lifeguard. Don't post swim schedules. Handle this with lawyers, not 911. Lorraine, stunned. You're not going to force him? No, ma'am. 911 is for emergencies. My neighbor won't let me use their pool, is not an emergency. Brent's face was priceless. As soon as they left, Lorraine tried to bounce back. Okay, so now that's settled. I said, get off my property. Not friendly. The clearest, coldest voice I could muster. Brent looked like he wanted to start something, but thought better of it. Lorraine, you're making this adversarial. I said, I am aware. This could have been positive for everyone. Brent, just stop being selfish. I held up the cartoon dolphin sign. And you stop. Pretending this means you own my pool. They stalked off. I locked the door, texted Eli the update. He replied, good. Save everything. I'm coming over. Don't talk to them unless you're recording. Check your cameras. Now, I'm not naturally paranoid, but I do install security cameras for a living. I check my side yard feed. There was footage of Lorraine, Brent, and Tasha plotting on my driveway. Brent, we'll just go back there when he's at work, hop the wall, pop the gate, done. He can't prove it. Tasha, that's breaking and entering. Brent, not if it's community property. Lorraine, technically, it's not. That's what we're fixing. Brent, we'll fix it old school. That's where my patience ended. That night, I emailed Eli all the evidence, added more padlocks to the gate, set up a second inside latch, and sent the association a calm, official notice of private property email. The pool is not an amenity. Entry without permission is trespassing. I barely slept. Next morning, an email, assessed community fee for unfair use of amenity. $30,000 for exclusive use of the neighborhood water feature. Itemized fake costs, insurance. Lifeguard retainer. Threatened to lien if I didn't pay in 10 days. I forwarded it to Eli. He replied all with a cease and desist unlawful harassment and extortion email, spelled out their lack of rights, warned of legal action if anyone entered my property or threatened liens again. Then Bonnie, retired nurse, 2 doors down, showed up with a stack of highlighted papers. She found the insurance policy, no coverage for water features not maintained by certified contractors. Translation, if Lorraine sent kids to my pool, the board could be personally liable. Bonnie also dug up meeting minutes where Lorraine asked, why can't we charge guest fees like a resort? This wasn't about kids, it was about squeezing money out of my pool. Later, code enforcement showed up, complaint about an unpermitted public pool. Thanks, Lorraine. I showed them the inspection sign-off and that ridiculous flyer. The guy actually laughed. Your pool is private. If anyone tries to force access, call us. Gave me his card. That night, my camera caught Brent climbing my fence with bolt cutters. I called 911. Cops showed up, flashed him, cuffed him, and cited him for trespass. Next morning, Eli filed for a restraining order. Judge granted it. No board member can enter my property, claim my pool, or even say lien to me. They had to send a letter to every house. The pool at my address is private, not an amenity. No one may enter. There is no lien. I taped it to my fridge. Here's what I learned. Some people think community means whatever you built is mine if I yell loud enough. They believe inventing Article 6, calling for the kids, and threatening 911 will magically make your backyard public property. Newsflash, no means no. No, you can't vote my pool into community. Access. No, you can't hop my fence and call it justice. And no, you can't bill me $30,000 for using my own pool. The big consequence didn't land on me, it landed on them. So let's open it up. What do you think? Was I too harsh, or does standing your ground still mean something? Drop your thoughts below, hit subscribe for more wild HOA tales, and let's hear your own neighborhood horror stories. See you in the next one, friends.